What's up, good people? This is Isaiah. And as we look at the tape, we're talking about Lingli, Another Style, and I believe I'm also going to talk about Shanie, Alter, right? Since we got both characters out here, might as well talk about them. Shadow female, I don't know. Or at least I should say I don't remember what her element was. We'll do this. And where is she? That's Renry. There she is.
You need me.
Alright,
You
so
really need me?
I forgot they talked. Yeah, we're talking about Shanie Alta and Lingli, Another Style. We'll start with Shanie Alta, right? Again, this is just first impressions kind of deal. First take, if you will. Especially with Shanie Alta, because I have to complete her last quest here to unlock her last skill. And I definitely need to go do that. Alright, fun stuff anyway. Fun stuff for her quest. Anyway, she's the way I would classify her based on my limited use of her, like a wind tank slash, I would just call her a wind tank to be blunt. Literally, blunt based weapon. Anyway, wind tank, that she has that buff, that overcritical buff, according to a handful of her skills actually. I'm already here. So she gives this overcritical, which takes the crit rate above 100%. All right, and meaning it really just activates, taking you above 100%. Then of course, when you're in overcritical, you deal even higher crit damage, really. And that's a first, and it's pretty damn interesting, with this damn ability. All right, so this here is pretty damn good. Let's look at her other skill here. Okay. Preemptive critical damage of all party members up 25%. Damage of all party members equipped with any weapon type 25%. So that's one hell of a buff. So meaning it doesn't really matter. You can be a fist user, hammer, sword, katana, etc. Okay. User and frontline ally with thorn wedge. Buff effect increased by 2 and grant link. Okay. And of course, link effect on ally attack, wind type blunt attack XL. Strength increase as attacking allies HP percentage lowers. So in this case, she works well with characters whose HP actually drops. So things like Winalka, Ewan, Cynthia, right? Because as we know, or for those that don't know, Cynthia, Shanie, you're gonna have to be replaced here. She's a wind user. Let's see, Cynthia here. She has an ability where, as you can see, Vent Brilliant. User takes 50% HP damage, and then does a wind type slash attack on all enemies, and the strength is increased based on the HP consumed. So imagine, say, someone like Shanie buffing Cynthia. You know what I mean? Pretty damn nuts when you think about it. All right. Plus, she's a wind user, right? So that makes it even better. Okay. So anyway, back to throw her in here. Back to Shanie here. Like I said, I don't have all of the skills. I have to finish her final quest. But this on its own is pretty nuts. All right, you can overcritical. You can give, say, going back to Cynthia, give her like a the Elpis. Is it Elpis? Yeah, the Elpis weapons or a void weapon, right? Thus taking her crit rate up to 100%. And this here takes the crit rate above that, you know. Not even sure if like a void weapon or a weapon that gives 100% crit rate would be even necessary. Okay. But there's that. Okay. So that's Fated Love here. And then, of course, this other ability here. Actually, no, I believe I already read this. Yeah, I already read that. Okay, so yeah, Fated Love. Apply Thorn Wedge to user and single partner member in the front line. Slot to the user's right. So if you think like people like Uella, another style, I want to say Mazrika, there's been a handful of characters who actually do things to the user's left or to their user's right. Right, Mayum for Altar is another one that comes to mind. Okay, basically meaning the placements in the party really does matter. So typically what I do is I would have my main damage dealer in the 4th slot. And then, so because of that, I would have someone like a Shanie Altar in the 3rd slot where Terry is. So it would be something like this here. Okay. So that's pretty much how that would work. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at these passes we got here. So this one here, what is it? Aldedir, really? Oh, geez, Valor Chance. Okay. Moving on here. Here we go. So, Critical Guard. These are passives, by the way. At battle start, inflict rage on all enemies, persistent, ignore target's resistance. Okay, in front line at battle start, activate user's strongest learn unique skill and party gains hold ground. Now, strongest learned unique skill, which in my case, ooh, I did not mean to do that. In my case, it would actually be this one here. Okay. Moving on. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. The overthrow that's coming from the weapon she has equipped. If we look at her stellar skills here, this ability, in front line at battle start, activate user stronger learn unique skill, as I mentioned before, and party gains hold ground, which is actually pretty good. Depending on who you're up against, you know what I mean? If you have something that can actually one-shot you like right away, then you're in for a world of hurt. Like I think like the Aldo Stellar fight, you know what I mean? Not even sure if I'm not sure if she would actually prevent like the death from happening, considering if he was like useless in that fight. So we have to take a look at that. Anyway, here we go. Here we have her Stellar Burst ability here. Wind type blunt attack on all enemies. Double XL. Wind type resistance down 50%. Okay. Strength increase based on user's HP percentage as her HP percentage lowers. All right. And then, of course, in Stellar Burst, strength further increased by 5. Grant barrier pierce to user and frontline ally with Thorn Wedge. So in my case, that would be Cynthia because she's to the right. All right. So that's pretty good. I mean, I'm thinking about this for a bit where we had a case where, like, I'm shocked that, like, Upalaka doesn't pierce the barrier. You know what I mean? Or any of, actually, that may be wrong. I have to take a look at their skills, but I'm thinking, like, the KOF fighters would pierce barriers. And things like that. So this is good that we get something here that does that. Then, of course, you can also just pair up Sesta, who's going to pierce barriers. So no issues there. All right. So the thing is, yeah, she's more of a support than she is a damage dealer in from just looking at the kit here. The top 3 skills I would actually use are, let's see, when I get it, it would definitely be Fated Love. Okay. And that's just to give that Thorn Wedge to the user on the right. That way we make the one, like in my case, Cynthia, the damage dealer. You could also use someone like Akane as well. Not Akane. Azami. I'm drawing blanks on names today. Is it Azami? Let me just double check. Yeah, Azami. There she is. Amy might work too. You know, she's a fist user, wind type. All right. And Suzette could definitely do some damage there. You know what I mean? So there's that. Fated Love, definitely the ability I would use. If I needed to deploy a wind zone, which I most likely won't, but if I needed to deploy one, she has one based on skill, which is good news. That way you don't have to use the grass to actually have somebody be able to do that. All right, so I would definitely use that skill there. This one here, preemptively deploy wind stance, wind king stance, and parties power, int, and speed are up 25%. Crit rate is up 100% with 3 moves. But of course, those who have the Thorn Wedge, in my case, Cynthia, she would get a doubling effect, if you will. So it's 50, 50, 50, and then so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? If I had to deal with like status effects and things of that nature, my Solace would definitely be something worth using. All right, because it gets status immunity for 3 turns. I think Tuva ES, she does it for 2 turns. So this would be worth having in the kit, okay, because of what that does. And then, of course, like I said, you know, user and frontline ally with Thorn Wedge, Cyclone, win immunity 3 times, when an attack zone type is deployed to awaken the zone, so she can actually awaken zones. All right, so that's helpful, especially if the zone isn't going to be awakened by anybody else. Typically, what you would do is you would have your zone be set first, and then you would have, say, whoever your second character is awaken that zone. So I can have someone like where, oh wait, he's not a female. Curio, right, as the number 2 character. So we have, say, zone setter. Actually, this wouldn't work in this particular case, but you would have the zone get set, and then the next thing you would do is awaken the zone. So that would be like your number 2 character. But based on the abilities here, that obviously wouldn't work because you wouldn't want to buff Curio. I mean, unless she's going to be your damage dealer. You know what I mean? But that's how that works. As far as overall like lineup goes, or like key things to be worth mentioning, David mentioned in his video how the higher her luck stat, the better. The received damage is decreased with critical guard, right? Kind of like Soria, another style. So obviously you would want her luck stat to be as high as humanly possible. All right. And currently I have this at 499. I could probably get it to 5. I'm pretty sure I can get it to 500 if we had a weapon that actually increased luck. I checked, there are none. And plus I'm using like these 35 and 30, you know, badges when I'm pretty sure, would it fall under ability here? Let's see. Let's see. Looking for... The max is 500 anyway. So I can do this. And that puts her luck at 514, but the max is 500. So 499 was just fine. I don't need to use this here. Okay. So there's that. As far as like, say, buffing other characters or even debuffing the enemies, she has skills for that too, which is, and there's so much she does. Cling together, right? Preemptive shade type blunt attack on all enemies, and we drop their speed, and we inflict rage, so they're slow. All right. And user takes 50% of current HP as damage. All right. And then gain 80% damage barrier 3 times. All right, for both her and, in my case, Cynthia, who's on the user's right. All right. This one here, I believe I already talked about. Yeah, pretty much. Nothing too crazy here. So these are just things to keep mindful of. One thing that was mentioned in David's video as well with this whole 1000% crit rate deal. I believe that's what it was. Basically seeing if one can get to that 1000%. Now, I said I would have to test it to see if I can come up with like a team comp that would allow you to consistently hit that, assuming it's actually true. But of course, just thinking about it, it's it seems, part of me thinks it's possible, right? Like I think it's possible, all right. because it's a 5x like multiplier at the end of the day with this particular skill here. The question is like, how do we get to that 5x really? Because the skill multiplier is increased based on, say, the HP percentage decrease. So to reach 5x, you know, your HP would have to drop maybe like, if I said 50%, that'd be too damn low. It's probably a much higher than that. Let me see here. This takes 50%, maybe 60, 75. As far as percentages go, really to hit that number. It'll take testing, really, in order to do it. All right, I definitely need to get that Fated Love ability as well. Really, just for it might not even be needed for the testing, but I definitely want to see if it's even possible to do it consistently, because that's kind of like the key. Because you gotta understand, like, how low your HP would have to be. It'd have to be damn near at 0. This is without killing her. In order for this to work. So, man, it'd be interesting. I could have used, like, say, Luck Plus and HP is halved to, like, drop it a bit, and then I could pair her with someone like a Minolka or someone else who may actually take HP from her. Yeah, it'd be interesting, really, to see how this works. Like I said, it's one of those things that definitely will require testing, especially if you want to do it consistently. Yeah, definitely if you want to do it consistently. You know what I mean? So I'll have to give that a shot, really. But yeah, definitely have to give it a shot, because even her, I want to say her stellar abilities are actually impacted by that as well. See, strength increased as users' HP percentage lowers. So obviously, the lower that percentage, the better. This here says at 90% or max 9. You know, it's by 3, so we'll take 3 drops. So it's most likely, yeah, it's a max 9. I'm just trying to do some math in my head. That's all. Max 9. So we'll say like 90% of your HP to like 100% of your HP. That's 1, 3, and then say to get to say a times 6, it'd probably be like, say, between 60 and between 60 and lower than 90. So between 60 and 90, all right, where the other one was like 90 and up. And then the final one being between, say, like basically no HP to that 60. So we'll say between 0 and 50% or 0 and 59%, really, in order to get there. I just divided it up by 3s. So 3, 3, and 3. And that's how I just create the tiers that way. It just makes the most sense in my head, at least, to do that. So the question then here becomes, well, how the hell do you get her down to less than, say, 59% of her HP without killing her? You know what I mean? And how do you do it consistently? Because if it's something you want to do every single turn, you know, you would have to find a way to A, restore her health, and then 2, drop it back down to, say, that 59% or even 50% to keep things simple. Sure, there's skills that you can use that would drop her HP. Let me see. What was the one I was looking at? Where are you? This one here, Cling Together, usually takes 50% of current HP as damage, so that would drop it. But you'd be doing that over and over and over again. It might be possible to do, right? You know, to get to this 1,000. You know, as you can see, since I made the comment, the damn thing's been bothering me, because I'm like, okay, wait. If David himself can't do it with some of the units that he got, at least consistently, what hope do I have of actually doing this consistently? You know, but that's Shanie. You know, I'll figure this out. All right. I have faith in me being able to come up with something crazy. All right. Now, as far as who to pair her up with, All right. Really up to you. Though most of us are probably going to go for like wind-based units. And obviously you're going to need someone who heals Shanie because she'll be taking, you know, damage both from her own skills and of course being attacked. So the people I would actually pair her up with are people like where's our favorite Melpy? All right, Melpithia. And that's really so she can heal and actually support Shanie in this particular case. All right, because trust me, she'll need it. All right. Users to use to her right. That's people like I was going to say Sesta, obviously. Suzette could also work. Kazami could work. Cynthia could definitely work. All right. And then of course, and again, I'm just thinking about when users. I was just looking at her actually. Melody, duh. Right, because she can set the wind zone, you know, and of course she has like this end of turn healing, which definitely comes in handy. All right, so that's that. Moving on to the next one, Lingli. All right, fire-based user, with questionable poses. All right, pretty interesting actually. First things first. Getting her abilities didn't require me to... Oh, actually, that's a damn... Well, I can't use this here because I have to go do a request to get this, but I would never use this. So, this is no big deal to me. All right. We got all the abilities here. All right. She's a damage dealer. Okay. Mainly fire. And she has like these different... I guess you could call them stacks that could be used throughout these fights, literally throughout the fights. So she has this warmed up stack and then wings. Okay. And it's can be complicated with how these damn things work because you don't know which ones you would have to constantly be checking which ones you're actually stacking. All right. So if we look at the abilities here, we'll go to Stellar here first. You know, the enhanced ability. At battle start, you start with 3 warmed up stacked on her, right? And that's pretty much how that works. Now, if she's in, what's it called? Follow along mode, okay? When she's in follow along mode, she would get, be able to make use of these damn stacks, you know what I mean? So basically with the stacks, follow along mode, and then her skills would actually change a little bit. They just do more damage, okay? And when she's not in follow along mode, at the end of every turn, she would actually get 1 stack, you know, warmed up stack that is, all right? For the wings, though, let me get out of here. For the wings, okay, she gets win in front line with 1 wing stacked. It says 1+, there's at least 1 wing stacked. You know, you activate this Fierce Goose Strike at the end of the turn, so basically just an additional attack. Nothing new in this case. All right. So the thing you'll be doing here is stacking warmed up and wings. Okay. Pretty damn important. Okay. Now, with that said, skills. Fierce. Let me actually go to abilities here. There we go. So we have Flicker Fire Strikes. Fire type blunt attack on a single. User's power increased by 70% and increased by 70%. All right. Win and follow along though. And again, that's with those 3 warmed up stacks, which is, you know, warmed up like you would work out. You know what I'm saying? You warm up, and then you hit the weights, right? And follow along strength further increased by 25 and guaranteed critical, and you would dispel the follow along, which makes sense. Which is absolutely insane, by the way. You know, you can enter follow along by like turn 2. You know what I mean? Maybe even faster than that, but you can definitely enter, you know, this follow along pretty damn quickly. So an increase in overall damage here by 25. And then we have this one here, Fierce Goose Strike. where fire type blunt attack on all enemies, XL, strength increase based on the number of frontline fist allies. I wish this said blunt. Not lying. I really do wish it said blunt allies and not fist allies, because there's not many like light fist fire users or fist fire users for that in this case. Sure, we have the KOF fighters, which could work, but it's not much, right? Because for me personally, I would want to get to that times 4, you know. And you may only need 3. Actually, no, you may actually need 4, because I believe it would include her, and then you would need 3 other like fist users. So, inflict pain, 5 turns, pretty standard. When 1 wing or 3 warmed up stacks, strength further increased times 5, and consume 1 or 3 warmed up to enter follow along. So this is the skill that allows you to go inside of the follow along mode. Okay. Wing stack will be consumed first if available. Okay. So meaning if you have both wings and of course you're warmed up, if you have the wing, you can enter it there, say like during an AF, and then at the end of the AF, you can pop this skill again because you'll have your 3 warmed up stacks, and then you can just enter follow along again. You know, so it's great for like, say you do an AF, you build up your stellar burst gauge and you don't use it. Okay. Then the next turn you can enter and follow along like right away. You know what I mean? So pretty much how that would work. All right. Now, the stellar burst skill itself. Let me pop one over here. Crimson Lotus Strike. One hell of a name, if I'm being honest. All right. Fire blunt attack on a single. Right, double XL times 5. In follow along, user gains damage increase based on enemy strength and physical damage increase based on max MP. That's a mouthful. Okay, it's a mouthful. Right, user gains damage increased based on enemy strength. All right, so the damage is increased based on the enemy strength, and physical damage is increased based on max MP value. All right, so the more MP she has, the better. The stronger the enemy, the better. Okay. In follow along. All right. And then, of course, we have in stellar burst, strength further increase times 7. User gains damage increase, like I mentioned before. And physical damage is increased. And critical rate and critical damage increased by 50%. All right. So that's in stellar burst. All right. Again, you would pop this, say, after an AF. Not within the AF, but once the AF, you finished it. All right, next skill, you know, pop this, you know what I mean? Or enter, follow along, and then pop this. So if you're thinking in terms of turns, it would be like turn 1 AF, turn 2 follow along, and then turn 3 stellar burst. You know what I mean? So pretty much how I would use this. All right, moving on. Let's see here. There was a. Yeah, that's fine. This is interesting. Activate upon stellar burst. When light power is greater, party fist equipped characters' damage goes up by 100% until the end of turn, which is pretty nuts. Like I said, if you were to say pop the stellar burst outside of AF, 100% damage multiplier, you know, to all fist-based users, which is great, you know. So, just based on my short amount of testing I've done with her since I got her. The way this has been working was I would aim to, like, the goal would be to change her mode, right? Put her in that follow along, and that would be like the goal there. And then once she's there, then I can do things like stellar burst or stellar skill, right? Crimson Lotus Strike, all right, for damage. And then of course it gives buffs to like other fist users in the party, all right, because of that stellar boost. Okay. And then the skill I use for damage, there's a reason why I have these skills outlined the way this is this flicker strikes here. Actually is the one that does damage, especially in follow along. All right, so get her in follow along, and then I can pop this skill here to do an increase times 25, you know, for damage, you know. And that's pretty much what I would do. And then at that point, all I'm really doing after this is just, okay, let me stack more of those warmed up or wings. and then just rinse and repeat. You get your wings, and you're warmed up, and then you go right back to stellar skill, assuming you have an AF bar, and then the flicker fire strikes. So that's really it in regards to like how I've been using her so far. Finding the right people to use her with, though, bit of a different story. So based on what I've tested so far, she does work here. Where is she? Where's Renri? Because it was Renri I was using her with. Where are you? Renri.
Can you help me with my story?
This works. Right? Fish user, there's 2. Okay. Anybody else I would pair her up with? I'm thinking like fire type users. One user that I haven't used in a while. No, is she a bow user? There we go. Haven't used this one in a while. I believe she's fire. Yep, she is. Haven't used this one in a while. And the reason why I would use her is to basically keep some of these units alive. And of course, her singing effects. You know what I mean? So I could pop this to give everybody 100% crit rate damage and damage inflicted up 100%. And then, of course, while singing, she breaks the enemies. You know? So, would come in handy. Would definitely come in handy. Alright. I'm trying to think of other old units she could be paired up with. Ash tier, and she gives barriers that I could work. Dewey, mate. Ooh, yeah, definitely. Fireband usually that would definitely work. Hardy for that flash strike, so to increase your AF. Lovely could work if you need someone who needs to be able to put up a barrier. Obviously, the KOF fighters could work as well. She works pretty much in any party, by the way. You know, it doesn't have to be fire-based. I'm just sticking with the fire theme here. What you can't do is, let's see. You can't do, let me sort by level here.
You need me? You really need me?
So you can't give one character 2 links, right? So it's either or in this case. It's either going to be we have the link be done by Renri or Shanie. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it'd be pretty busted if you can do 2 links, right? But yeah, that's pretty much how that would work. As far as using these characters go, it's pretty simple. Let me just see here, Aldo. We won't have an AF bar, unfortunately. Let's, didn't mean to do that. Switch order. We'll do this here. And of course, fight everybody's favorites. Okay. Favorite boss here. I didn't even check the equipment. Jeez. So, she has her warmed up stacks. She doesn't have any wings stacked. And then, of course, she has this undercover scribe skills. Right, that's coming from Render here. Okay. So we have Blaze Up. We'll go ahead and use that. I'm gonna just go first skill for everybody to keep things simple here. I'll go second skill. Yeah, second skill. Remember, she's not in follow along. This is what we'll put her in. Follow along. All right. I should have gave her like a void weapon or something. And then, of course, we can go nuts at this point with, say, another force if we want. Not really necessary. You know what I mean? Let me check here. This up. Yeah, we definitely go nuts with this. I really gotta like still and burst these KOF folks. We'll do that. So she's now in this follow along here. That's what we're aiming to do here, where we put out tons of damage when she's in follow along, and then we'll use that first skill. So as you can see, we have one warmed up, no wings. All right. Yeah, here. Let me actually just use the stellar burst skills here.
Let the stars guide us to tomorrow.
Nice. One warmed up. And then pretty much what you can do is just keep using, say, this skill here. I think this is my, yeah, this is my damage dealer. Like when I was running through, doing the new Astral, doing the new Astral Archive, I just threw her in the party to one-shot users. Let's do something a bit different here. Oh, there's only one turn left. There's no time. It's fine. I was gonna VC the mount. Then, of course, for this final one here, I should have checked her skills to make sure I had these. I did not have these set up correctly. I mean, it's fine, just not what I did. Aldo, how fast are you? Nice. There we go. So we're giving a buff here. And we're in this overcritical right now. Had a quarter of the Thorn Buck stat, all stats except HP and MP. So pretty much what we did was just increase pretty much everything, right? Crit rate 100%, and at each turn, if user and ally with Thorns are both present in the front line, user takes 30% current HP as damage. And ally's HP percentage becomes equal with the HP percentage of basically Shanie here. Okay. And let's see here. Do we have anything else? There's a lot going on with this skill. I mean, because it's a lot going on with Thorn Wedge. All right. And then final skill. So we're currently in this
One secret technique coming right up.
So we're currently in, wait for this to load, this fight along mode. And one way you'd find out is just by looking at the skill. You know what I mean? We'll do this here. We don't need that barrier pierce.
Let's go, Bow Bow. Hi-ya!
So she can do tons of damage. Very easy to use though, like I said. I have no real issues with her. And I guess we could just bail here. Very simple stuff. Like, I'm liking how some of the characters that are being released that are, say, being Stellar Awakening, they're very easy to use. Like there's like no real question on how to go about using some of these characters, right? Like if you think of like CL Alter, for example, who is probably one of the easiest Stellar Awakening units to use, because if you have him Stellar Awakening, you really only need to use his Stellar Awakening skill. You know, literally, that's it. All right, so I'm definitely liking that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. I'm going to have to go finish a certain someone's quest, Shanie. I'm going to have to go finish her quest to get that final skill so I can actually make use of it and then go about testing this 1000% deal just to see if I can even pull it off. Really. All right, so I'm going to get out of here and I will talk to you all later.